The Son of Sam killings, a series of brutal murders and attacks that terrorized New York City between 1976 and 1977, remain one of the most notorious crime sprees in American history. This deep dive will cover the background, childhood, and education of the perpetrator, David Berkowitz, his career, the chilling details of his killings, his capture, trial, and imprisonment, and the aftermath of his reign of terror. David Berkowitz was born Richard David Falco on June 1, 1953, in Brooklyn, New York. His mother, Elizabeth Betty Broder Falco, had an affair with a married real estate agent, Joseph Kleinman, who abandoned her upon learning of her pregnancy. Betty, already struggling with her marriage to Tony Falco, a fish market proprietor, chose to give her son up for adoption. Within a few days, David was adopted by Nathan and Pearl Berkowitz, a middle-aged Jewish couple who lived in the Bronx. Nathan and Pearl Berkowitz were described as loving and attentive parents. Nathan, a hardware store owner, and Pearl, a homemaker, provided a stable and supportive environment for their adopted son. Despite this, David exhibited signs of emotional instability and behavioral problems from a young age. He was prone to fits of rage and displayed a disturbing penchant for pyromania, setting small fires in his neighborhood. David struggled academically and socially. He was considered a loner and had few friends. His adoptive parents, particularly his mother, were deeply concerned about his erratic behavior and sought psychiatric help for him. Despite their efforts, David's problems persisted, and he continued to struggle with feelings of anger and alienation. David's academic journey was marked by underachievement and disinterest. He attended PS 77 and later Christopher Columbus High School in the Bronx. Teachers and classmates remembered him as a troubled and introverted student. His poor academic performance and lack of social skills further isolated him from his peers, exacerbating his feelings of inadequacy and resentment. After graduating from high school, Berkowitz enlisted in the U.S. Army at the age of 18. He served in South Korea as an infantryman and was honorably discharged in 1974 after 3 years of service. While in the Army, Berkowitz's behavior appeared to stabilize somewhat, and he even showed an interest in becoming an evangelical Christian. However, this period of relative calm was short-lived. Upon returning to New York City, Berkowitz attempted to integrate into civilian life. He took on various menial jobs, including a brief stint as a security guard. In 1976, he secured a job with the U.S. Postal Service as a letter sorter, which provided him with a steady income and a sense of routine. Despite this semblance of normalcy, Berkowitz's mental health continued to deteriorate. Berkowitz's mental state took a dark turn as he began to believe that he was commanded by demonic forces. He claimed that his neighbor, Sam Carr, had a black Labrador retriever named Harvey, who was possessed by a demon and communicated with him, instructing him to kill. These delusions intensified his already existing sense of isolation and alienation, pushing him towards violence. David Berkowitz, who became infamously known as the Son of Sam, embarked on a terrifying killing spree that began on July 29, 1976, with his first confirmed attack. This assault set the stage for a series of brutal and seemingly random shootings that left New York City gripped in fear. Berkowitz's initial attack targeted two young women, Donna Lauria and Jody Valenti, who were sitting in a parked car in the Bronx. Lauria was killed instantly, while Valenti survived but was seriously injured. This was only the beginning of Berkowitz's year-long reign of terror that would eventually leave 6 people dead and 7 others wounded. Berkowitz's modus operandi was consistent and chilling. He primarily targeted young women with long, dark hair, often accompanied by their male companions, and attacked them while they were in parked cars or walking late at night. His weapon of choice was a .44 caliber Bulldog revolver, which he used with deadly precision. Each attack followed a similar pattern, contributing to a climate of pervasive fear and paranoia across New York City. October 23, 1976, Carl Denaro and Rosemary Keenan were sitting in their parked car in Flushing, Queens, when Berkowitz struck. Both survived the attack, but Denaro suffered a serious skull injury that required surgery. The randomness of the attack and the survival of both victims meant there were witnesses to Berkowitz's brutal assault, yet no solid leads emerged to identify the attacker. November 27, 1976. Donna DeMacy and Joanne Lamino were shot while walking home in Bellerose, Queens. Both women survived, but Joanne Lamino was paralyzed from the waist down. This attack further illustrated Berkowitz's willingness to target victims in public spaces, heightening the city's anxiety as people feared they could be next at any moment. January 30th, 1977. Christine Freund and John Deal were sitting in their car in Queens when Berkowitz struck again. Christine Freund was killed, while John Deal survived the attack. This shooting reinforced Berkowitz's preference for ambushing couples in parked cars, and the increasing frequency of the attacks deepened the public's terror. March 8, 1977. Virginia Voskerichian was shot and killed while walking home in Queens. Berkowitz approached her on foot and shot her in the head. The randomness and brutality of this attack highlighted the unpredictable nature of Berkowitz's crimes, making it clear that no one was safe from his reach. April 17, 1977. Alexander Esau and Valentina Suriani were shot and killed in their parked car in the Bronx. This attack was significant not only for its brutality, but also because Berkowitz left a handwritten letter at the scene, addressed to NYPD Captain Joseph Borelli, in which he referred to himself as Son of Sam. This letter marked the beginning of Berkowitz's taunting communication with the police and the media, further escalating the fear and the notoriety of his crimes. June 26, 1977. Judy Placido and Sal Lupo were attacked while sitting in their car in Bayside, Queens. Both survived despite their injuries. By this point, Berkowitz's pattern of attacking couples in parked cars was well established, yet he continued to evade capture, further frustrating law enforcement and terrifying the public. July 31st, 1977. Stacy Moskowitz and Robert Violante were shot in Brooklyn. Stacy Moskowitz died from her injuries, while Robert Violante was blinded in one eye. This was Berkowitz's final attack and ultimately led to his capture. The consistency in Berkowitz's method, targeting young women with long, dark hair, often while they were accompanied by male companions, and striking them in parked cars or on quiet streets, created a pervasive atmosphere of fear throughout New York City. His use of a .44 caliber Bulldog revolver was a distinctive element that linked the attacks together, helping police to eventually track him down. Each attack deepened the city's collective trauma and fear, as the seemingly random nature of the crimes suggested that anyone could be the next victim. Berkowitz's eventual capture on August 10, 1977, brought relief to a city that had been living in terror. But the legacy of his killing spree left a lasting impact on the community and the criminal justice system's approach to serial offenders. The intense media coverage and public fear surrounding the Son of Sam killings put enormous pressure on the NYPD to apprehend the killer. The police formed a task force, Operation Omega, to investigate the murders. But Berkowitz's ability to strike randomly and disappear without leaving substantial evidence made him difficult to catch. The arrest of David Berkowitz, also known as the Son of Sam, on August 10, 1977, marked the end of a notorious killing spree that terrorized New York City. Berkowitz had eluded capture for over a year, during which time he killed 6 people and wounded 7 others, using a .44 caliber Bulldog revolver. His arrest came as a result of diligent police work and a crucial breakthrough involving a parking ticket issued near one of the crime scenes. NYPD detectives John Falatico and William Gardella conducted surveillance on Berkowitz's apartment building in Yonkers based on evidence linking him to the crimes. This included the parking ticket issued to his car near the scene of one of the shootings. When the detectives located Berkowitz's car, they observed a duffel bag inside the vehicle. Upon closer inspection, they discovered the bag contained ammunition, maps of the crime scenes, and the .44 caliber Bulldog revolver, the weapon used in the murders. Choosing to avoid a potentially dangerous confrontation inside the building, the detectives decided to wait for Berkowitz to emerge. When he did, he got into his car, and the detectives moved in to arrest him. Berkowitz did not resist and was reportedly calm during the arrest. He famously remarked, "Well, you got me. How come it took you such a long time?" This statement reflected a sense of inevitability and perhaps a twisted satisfaction in the notoriety he had gained. Following his arrest, Berkowitz immediately confessed to being the son of Sam.
I'm Sam. David Berkowitz.
He detailed his crimes to the detectives, admitting to the murders and explaining his belief that he was obeying orders from a demon that had possessed his neighbor's dog. His confession was a significant moment, as it provided closure to a city gripped by fear and speculation. Berkowitz was taken into custody and later charged with multiple counts of murder. His arrest ended a dark chapter in New York City's history and underscored the effectiveness of persistent investigative efforts. The case also highlighted the psychological complexities of criminal behavior, as Berkowitz's claims of demonic possession drew attention to his mental state and the potential influence of psychiatric disorders on his actions. Following his arrest, Berkowitz was subjected to extensive psychiatric evaluations. He admitted to all the shootings and claimed that he was commanded to kill by a demon that possessed his neighbor's dog. Despite these bizarre claims, he was deemed competent to stand trial. On May 8, 1978, Berkowitz pleaded guilty to 6 counts of murder. During his court appearances, he showed little remorse, and at one point he attempted to jump out of a window, screaming that he wanted to kill them all again. His erratic behavior and claims of demonic possession fueled public fascination with the case. On June 12, 1978, David Berkowitz, infamously known as the son of Sam, was sentenced to 6 consecutive life sentences, amounting to a total of 365 years in prison. This severe sentence reflected the gravity of his crimes, which included the murder of 6 people and the wounding of 7 others in a series of shootings that terrorized New York City from 1976 to 1977. The court's decision to impose consecutive life sentences ensured that Berkowitz would spend the rest of his life in prison, with the possibility of parole only after 25 years. The Son of Sam killings had a profound impact on New York City. The fear and paranoia caused by Berkowitz's random attacks led to a significant change in the behavior of the city's residents. Many women cut their hair short or dyed it blonde to avoid fitting Berkowitz's preferred victim profile. Couples avoided sitting in parked cars, and the city saw a rise in the purchase of firearms for self-defense. The media played a significant role in shaping public perception of the case. Sensationalist headlines and extensive coverage contributed to the climate of fear. Berkowitz's letters to the police and press, in which he taunted authorities and provided cryptic clues, further fueled the hysteria. In response to the widespread attention and potential for criminals to profit from the publicity of their crimes, New York State enacted the Son of Sam law in 1977. This law aimed to prevent criminals from earning money through book deals, movies, or other media related to their crimes. Instead, any profits would be directed to the victims or their families. Since his imprisonment, David Berkowitz has undergone significant changes. He has expressed remorse for his actions and has become a born-again Christian, referring to himself as the Son of Hope. Berkowitz has written several essays and letters from prison, urging young people to avoid violence and seek spiritual guidance. Despite his claims of rehabilitation, his requests for parole have been consistently denied. Berkowitz's story has continued to captivate the public, inspiring numerous books, documentaries. Thank you for watching the video. Hope you all liked it. Feel free to share your thoughts in comment section. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you will never miss any episode of our enthralling series.